We know how difficult it is to make pictures, to create in these materials, and how hard it is, economically speaking, artistically speaking, and it is something in the materials that is difficult, and I think everything that happens is marvelous.
Wars are going on all the time, and so many of the people that are the victims of the war, they have no idea what is this war about.
What is war but killing, isn't it?
They see that their homes are being bombed, their children are being killed, their dignity is being taken away. And they have no idea who is the aggressor and who is the army who's supposed to defend us, because both the aggressor and the defenders are as bad and as violent.
It's war, the ultimate human evil, where you just don't kill one person, but you kill thousands, as many as you can. This disintegration, the theater of it, would touch upon war, which is after the ultimate human social evil.
This is what the shame is all about.
Shame continues, I would think. As a matter of fact, in the following movie that Bergman made, Passion of Anna, will contain, call them cruel, relentless studies of personality disintegration. Persona, Hour of the Wolf. But the focus changes, you could say, or rather the specific way this is presented. There's always this leading character who falls apart, however. In the first case, it's the whole disintegration of modern culture and cinema, and it does all. And BB, what is reality? What is the nurse? Collapses. The second one is it puts you into the horror genre, and there's some dark humor in it, and so on. But there, it's somebody being destroyed by his inner demons, and going insane or killing himself, really, literally. This next one, Bergman gets out of the little thing, the little self-enclosed cinema, the little self-enclosed artist and the few people around him, and we're getting war.
I have done a few films that I'm really proud that I've been part of. One was The Emigrants in the New Land with Jan Troell, about Swedish people going to the United States. And I made one with Ingmar that I'm tremendously proud of, which is called The Shame. And I think that movie is as actual today as it was when it was meant.
You can't, go very deep into the Swedish psyche without a tremendous feeling of guilt for World War II. Now that's a war. But he reduces it. And somehow the war and what's going on between these two people on an island, a little island, and there's Bergman on his little island, the artist, cut away, and gets caught in this absolute madness. What's going on? Who's going to kill us? I think it makes sense in this series of personality disintegration.
Ja, vi måste hem igen! Jan, kör hem! Jan!
To have feelings about something is a personal experience, in a sense, about something. So we could certainly say Bergman didn't have the actual physical involvement in any war situation, direct war situation, but he certainly had tremendous feelings about it.
We all try. We all try to express experiences of what we have, our tensions, of what we have seen, of what we have, what we like to do, what we dream, what we desire.
A man with his, shall we say, neurotic tendencies would certainly, during the Cold War, imagine being caught between Mother Russia and the US of A, the West. It wasn't a terribly comfortable position to be in. Any Scandinavian would feel that way, or Nordic. So there's a certain real authenticity here, and that's personal. You feel it.
Politiska åskådning?
Jag har ingen politisk åskådning.
Har ni ingen politisk åskådning?
Det är så svårt att hinna med. Vi har ingen radio här. Den är sönder.
Säg mig en sak, är det likgiltigt för er då? Vilket politiskt system som ni lever under?
Nej, vi tycker att krigen har pågått för länge så det är så svårt.
And it wasn't popular to talk about it at this time, and I don't think people were even so much aware of it. And this was at the time of the war in Vietnam, and I would believe that so many people that were victims and were killed or were bereft of everything they had no idea of why is this war fought. And it certainly didn't help anyone. It made, on both sides, it made horrible victims.
Bergman is trying to get a direct language. There seems to be a deliberate choice on his part of not manufacturing the perfectly balanced classical thing. This is freewheeling now. This is self-conscious cinema. It's only a film we're fabricating in front of your very eyes.
What is your real aim in filmmaking? What are you trying to do with the film?
Just to come in contact with other human beings. It's a desire in me to touch other human beings, to touch the emotions of other people. This has always been so.
Var ska du ta vägen?
Jag må ju hjälpa, men kan du hänga och dö där borta?
Det var fiender, de kan ju skjuta på dig.
Vad fan är det för en jävligt
Stanna här, det går inte.
Kan du stå här du där med hängd ett människa där borta?
Stanna här.
Släpp mig!
Du stanna. Stick då!
It's interesting to note how the men in these films are in some ways very cowardly. And the strange thing that happens in Shame is that this man is cowardly at the beginning. And he's always there crouching on stairwells and things and so on. But he suddenly becomes macho and he starts being a murderer and killing people. And there's an irony here. The Bergman male starts acting like a male, a movie male, or a Hollywood movie male, and strikes out. You never see anybody with a gun in a Bergman movie.
Låt honom vara. Låt honom sova. Låt honom vara. Nej!
Låt mig vara. Så! Upp med dig! Upp med dig!
Max von Sydow, in Shame, actually does murder a few people. And there's an anger in Bergman. You can tell. And this is so unusual for him.
And a part of being proud of the message of Shame, I'm also very proud of the acting performances, both of Max von Sydow and of me and all the rest of the people that are in the movie. I think we were very real, And it was done on a very small budget. It was done at a time when Ingmar was not in fashion. It was very hard to get money for it. We had very little money. It was done on fora, and everything was done on the edge of not having money to do anything.
We know how difficult it is to make pictures, to create in these materials, and how hard it is, economically speaking, artistically speaking, and it is something in the materials that is difficult, and I think everything that happens is marvelous. Everybody who has an idea and that he want to express something, he want to tell something, that is marvelous. The only thing I hate and that detests me, detesting, that is this à la mode. All those who are running afterwards and telling the same things, who are very
Conformist.
yes,
Yeah.
and who are very clever,
Yeah.
and make clever pictures, and
Without meaning.
no, without meaning. But everybody who wants to tell them how difficult it is for him, but if he or she has an idea and want to express this idea, I think it's marvelous if he uses this filmmaking, and he can make film how he wants to make them, and we are only in the beginning.
Ingmar Bergman never really improvises. He's very meticulous that every word should be letter perfect. And the only time when he really improvised, and I'm talking about the lines now, was in Shame. We did improvise there because he at times said, and specifically at the time when Max von Sydow and I, we are sitting together and talking about a baby we might get and whatever, he says, you can say whatever you want and you're sitting at a table and then you end up on the grass making love, and talk something about the baby you would like or whatever. There we really improvised.
Vi diskar inte nu.
Ska vi inte diska nu? Vad ska vi göra nu då?
Liv Ullmann speaks very highly of this movie, her satisfaction in it. And I wasn't too certain, but then as I thought again, and the horrific, and yet she was pleased with the movie. Why? Because Liv Ullmann is a giver, a doer. And that's the role, to a certain extent, that she plays in the Bergman movies, in every one.
Kom då, sätt dig så ska jag lägga om det. Vänta, ska du få mat här? Vill du ha? Är du inte hungrig?
And what I liked about the movie The Shame is that it was also a movie where it was not about a very privileged person who Ingmar often is showing films about, with neurosis and whatever. It's about real people, common people that find it difficult to have a life because the powers above them are deciding what life should be for them.
Mm. Jag tror ibland är det som alltihop en dröm. Det är inte min dröm, det är någon annans som jag måste vara med. Hur tror du det går när den som drömt oss vaknar och skäms över sin dröm?
Jan och Eva Rosenberg.
Today we know it is any war and any people because there's so few places now that are not touched by war, and a very immoral war. And today there's no more soldiers that die in war. It's old people, children, women, men that is not part of the war. so many countries that send armies out to kill somebody there or there. The victory they talk about on TV is where only one soldier was killed. You know, we never see the faces of the hundreds of innocent people that are killed. We only see the face and the story and the widow of the one soldier which is killed. And that is the horror of war today. Before, okay, the soldiers killed each other and there was, you know, the army place was at one place. Today, we are all the army places and the soldiers are no more part of it.
There are these scenes where she sees the victims, you know, the war victims and all of that, and she is moved, she emotes. But then you think in real life what Liv Ullmann has done. Talk about a great actress maturing marvelously. Liv Ullmann is a heroic woman, and she joined this movement, UNICEF, and visiting particularly the children in the starvation camps. I think she's made 92 visits to these hell spots, these terribly dangerous for disease and everything else places. Liv Ullmann is a strong woman, and she resisted, and she you know, stayed at it for many, many years, and she got into all kinds of social. She manifested, I think, she spoke at the United Nations. She faced the U.S. generals on many things when they were going against the rest of the world, and these various associations to try to solve the problems together, constant themes. She's fearless, and she becomes a prophetess.
You know, I would like to say one more thing. Of course, there are terrible fates for soldiers, young boys who are sent out in war and who don't even know why they are sent there or what they're supposed to do. And sometimes they even do horrible things themselves, and sometimes horrible things are happening to them. Who I'm really against are the generals who never leave their wonderful tables, and the president and the world leaders who allow this to happen.
Such as yours. You don't even have to wait for the testimony before this committee. You have... And earnestly pray.
Для того, чтобы в дополнение к растущему потоку... Которые вы оказали мне... The feeling of this case.